Death of Li Keqiang. Episode 2. Third, people, that is, interpersonal struggles. It is generally recognized in the media that Li is the weakest premier in the history of the People's Republic of China. It is obvious to all that Li had been consistently suppressed politically by Xi's dominance. The story of Li and Xi also corresponds to an old Chinese saying, better not to read at all than to read without understanding. It should be said that Xi's ability to secure his current position has a lot to do with his father, Xi Zhongshuan. According to Kulingling, without the old man, he is nothing. But I want to say, after his father's death in 2002, his resourcefulness and character traits still played a big role in his final climb to the top. His main resource is Li Keqiang, the chief minister who successfully curried favor with Jiang Zemin. Talking about Xi's character traits, let's analyze a reporter's interview with him. In 2000, he was then the governor of Fujian province. Xi Jinping recalled that he was picked out and criticized by the rebels because he refused to be bullied. They all thought I was the leader, he said. They asked, how serious do you think your crime is? I answered, can you make an estimation for me, is it enough to be shot? They said, it's enough to be shot for 100 times. I thought 100 times made no different from once. It was already 100 times, so what was I afraid of? From this brief description, we can see that Xi Jinping has the temperament of being a big brother in society. Naturally, many younger brothers are willing to follow him. Therefore, along the way, younger brothers from various places followed their big brother Xi to Beijing and become high officials. Xi has always wanted to emulate Mao, but the cultural gap alone makes it impossible. Xi always mentions a lot of book titles in his speeches, which is ridiculed by many Chinese people. This reflects his cognitive deficiency. How does this cognitive deficit develop? It is the result of a lack of scientific and rational learning environment during the stage of independent thinking formation, which generally occurs during middle school and college years. Xi happened to be in rural area of northern Shaanxi province during this stage, 15 to 22-year-old. One major characteristic of people with cognitive deficiencies is their stubbornness, which aligns with Ku's description of Xi. When he met with overseas Chinese in Mexico on February 11, 2009, Xi once said, "Some foreigners who are full and have nothing to do are dictating our affairs. China does not export revolution, hunger and poverty, and China is not going to torment you. Why do you still mind our business?" This saying reflects Xi's cave-dwelling peasant consciousness from northern Shaanxi, a very closed and backward area. The significant cultural gap between them inevitably leads to deep-seated contempt from Li towards Xi, which would naturally be revealed at some point. Fourth, timing, namely opportunity. After Li retired, he had more time to delve into academic pursuits, and thus Dunhuang studies became his forte. When he had learned enough, he would go to the field to exchange ideas with experts. During these discussions, staff naturally compared Li with Xi. This comparison exposed the gap between a genuine scholar and a fake one. So, the staff praised Li excessively, and in his arrogance, Li mocked and belittled Xi, releasing the pent-up frustration he had harbored for a long time. Then, the accompanying surveillance personnel reported back, and Xi, adding new grievances to old ones, immediately ordered Li to be sent to the Shanghai Dongjiao Hotel, directly controlled by the Central Security Bureau. Several days after Li's death, there were messages from his families and friends in Hefei on X. We lost contact with Li after his appearance in Dunhuang on August 31st. Li recently expressed his desire to go back to Hefei to meet with relatives, friends and classmates after retiring from the 20th National Congress of the Communist Party of China. Before the Mid-Autumn Festival, my family asked Li to come to Hefei through his secretary to celebrate the festival, but no reply at all. This is completely consistent with my judgment. In addition, there is another obvious flaw. the lack of details and circumstantial evidence in the entire story. Li did not die in the hospital or at home, but in a large hotel. He had a heart attack and was sent to the hospital for rescue. He had to go through many places. Many people must have seen that if it was a normal sudden death from a heart attack. Why is there no other relevant information released by individuals other than the official announcement? Not even a single word. It is actually easy to detect official lies in China because the bureaucracy is incapable of innovation. In the 2012 Bo Xilai's incident in Chongqing, officials said that his wife Bo Gu Kailai poisoned the British businessman Haywood to death because of a financial dispute over a house in UK. Later, around 2014, my college classmates Lu Lianxing and I had chat in Guangzhou. Lu was then a member of the Standing Committee of the Guangdong Provincial Commission for Discipline Inspection and now is the Secretary of the Shenzhen Commission for Discipline Inspection. I said to Lu, "I don't believe what your official said, because economic disputes Bo Gu Kailai killed Haywood. Bo Gu Kailai had a lot of money, and it was impossible to kill people for that little money, let alone a British man." Lu said, Haywood was a British spy. The central government had discovered it and started to pursue it. Bo Gu Kailai killed Haywood when she found out. Lu also said that Haywood had cuckolded Bo Xilai. There were other lies in this case, like Haywood personally threatened Bo Gu Kailai's son Bo Guagua. And Bo Xilai said Wang Lijun had a crazy crush on Bo Gu Kailai. He thought Wang Lijun was like French President Macron. Wang Xuemei, the chief female medical examiner of the Supreme People's Procuratorate of China, once publicly questioned the cause of Haywood's death on her personal Weibo, video, and other means, saying, "I personally believe that the conclusion that Neil Haywood died of cyanide poisoning seriously lacks facts and scientific basis. As a serving forensic doctor of China's highest prosecutorial agency today, I deeply regret the facts and results ultimately determined by the investigation, prosecution, and trial activities involving the death of Neil Haywood." Finally, let me talk about Xi Jinping's ex-wife, Ms. Kulingling, because she has been mentioned several times in this article. There's no one who knows better than a wife. Generally speaking, Chinese women analyze problems more emotionally and less rationally than men. Therefore, when a couple quarrels, the husband often feels that the wife is unreasonable. But there is one exception, that is female doctors. Because the theory and practice of medicine are good philosophical training. The treatment of diseases requires seeing the essence through the phenomenon, knowing what it is and why it is, and looking at problems from the perspective of dialectical development, etc. So there is a saying, a good doctor must be a philosopher. Moreover, we have observed that the theories of philosophers who have studied medicine are often closer to life, such as Locke, Schopenhauer, etc. Of course, Ku is not a philosopher, and she cannot possibly know that the place where she initially disliked she may be the reason why she has succeeded in gaining the throne. If you like my video, please subscribe me.